I think we're ready to get started, and thank you for your patience.
We are live.
Are we live?
Yep.
Okay, so the text came through. We are live and we're ready to go, and I appreciate everybody being here and those that are joining online this evening. So as we get started, I so appreciate John Watts with First United Methodist Church. Thank you so much for what you do in our community, but thank you for opening us in prayer, and we will start with you, and we'll all rise for your prayer, and thank you.
You're welcome. Let's pray. Oh God, on this eve of our national election, we pause and we thank you for our country. We thank you for our unique form of government, envy of the world, embodied even in the way this city council does its business. Critics, and that's okay. We're free to express ourselves openly and honestly, which is a good thing. But as we begin this meeting tonight, God, we just want to pause and simply say thank you. Thank you for our city, for our country, for our freedom. Thank you for our leaders. Thank you for your blessing. We need that blessing in these challenging times. We need your help. We need humility whenever we start to think that we have all the answers, because we don't. You are the answer. And we trust that you are at work through our feeble efforts to make Nampa, Idaho a better place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor John, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's start with roll call. Rodriguez?
Here.
Bruner?
Here.
Mucci? Here. Levi? Haverfield?
Here.
Bauer?
Here.
So the next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. We do have a couple of amendments to the agenda. We are removing a proclamation, which is the VFW Buddy Poppy Days. That will be next time. And then we are adding a staff communication, but we're adding item 5.1, which is a new business item, which is the resolution declaring City of Nampa to be a Second Amendment city. With that, I would stand for a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved into seconded. Discussion.
Discussion. I've talked to the mayor just before. I am not voting for the consent agenda, and there's only one issue. Is the reason I'm not going to be voting yes on the consent agenda. Trying to keep consistent, and that's on the liquor license. And I'm not going to be able to pronounce probably the restaurant correctly. But anyway, it's a liquor license. I have been out to the site. Have talked to the owner next door to it, which is he's a neighbor of yours, yeah. Councilman Rodriguez. Agave Cantina?
Agave.
Agave? I'm sorry. Okay, that's pretty good too.
You did good.
Anyway, it's a full bar. My main thing, and I've expressed this in weeks prior to, I'm not in favor of a family restaurant having a liquor license. Those of you who are not aware, if you have a beer and wine license, which I'm fine, you're allowed up to a 16% alcohol by volume, which that means you can have pre-mixed drinks, margaritas, etc. You can buy pre-mixed. And but I'm not in favor of kids going into a place where there's not a separate bar as a family institution. So that's why I will not be voting in favor of the consent agenda.
Mayor Kling?
Yes.
I'm not sure if legal can advise us on that, but can that just be removed from the consent agenda and put on the regular agenda, or what is the proper course for that?
Madam Mayor and Council Member Haverfield, procedurally it could be. The question you have is the basis for a denial of a liquor license. Under City Code, the standards for approval and denial are the same. There's some other provisions within code, but you have to cite a specific statute or ordinance that the individual that's applying for the license is violating. And that can be state or city code. I don't know that we've heard a specific violation. Councilmember Bruner doesn't favor that. I think to pursue that further, you would need to look at some ordinance changes potentially in regard to city code, and then evaluate, you know, as you're going through that process to determine whether they're appropriate and constitutional. But to deny it at this point, you would need to articulate a specific provision.
Mayor Kling. To follow up with Debbie then, have they gotten their approval from the state for this liquor license?
Yes, they have their state and their county.
Okay. Then I'll just, my motion stands. It's been seconded, so this is conversational.
Mm-hmm. As part of the discussion piece, and Councilman Bruner, I appreciate you standing by your core values. I admire and respect that. I think I'd like to suggest that our legal counsel, Todd Lakey, would actually review our ordinances and see, this body has talked a number of times about liquor licenses, and so I think it would behoove us to come back and ensure that the basis for our decisions is accurate, and if there's anything that we choose to do as a city based on ordinance. The other thing I think I'd mention is that, just so everybody knows, that we do have in place guidelines that if there is a violation that takes place, we can revoke the license when it's renewed. And so it's a point system, and it's based on over-serving, underage serving. There may be another criteria in there, and it's in the number of violations that it can actually be revoked. And so that is in place, but we will do further research into it and come back at a later time with that.
Let me just reinforce, Mayor, for me, I have no problem with a liquor license for a bar. I'm just speaking of family-type restaurants that have the children in, where I'm opposed. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? So this is approving the consent agenda as stated with the amended agenda. So hearing none, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Bruner?
No.
Mutchie?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is a proclamation, and this is Girls on the Run Day. So, and then joining us in just a moment online, if Tony Rami is there, I'll let her speak for just a second after we get done. But the proclamation is that whereas Girls on the Run International began in 1996 in Charlotte, North Carolina, and currently offers programming in over 12,000 locations across the nation. And whereas Girls on the Run Idaho was founded in 2001 in Boise, Idaho, and has been serving girls in 3rd through 8th grade for 20 years. Whereas the fun and inclusive lessons meet the unique needs of each girl, no matter her circumstances, ability, or background. And whereas over 11,000 girls throughout the Treasure Valley have participated in Girls on the Run and completed their first 5K run. And whereas more than half of all girls who have participated in Girls on the Run have received scholarships in order to do so. Whereas 87% of the girls improved confidence, competence, caring, character, and connection. And whereas 97% learned critical life skills of resolving conflict, standing up for themselves and others, managing their emotions, thinking independently, and making healthy decisions. And whereas Girls on the Run Idaho is celebrating their 20th anniversary of serving girls in Southwest Idaho. Now, therefore, I, Debbie Kling, Mayor of the City of Nampa, do hereby proclaim November 14, 2020 as Girls on the Run Day. Tony, would you like to speak to us for just a second?
Sure. Thank you very much to you, Mayor Kling, and the City Council for allowing us to serve girls within the Nampa community. 2020 has not been anybody's favorite year, and we're all surviving it, but we are in Nampa. We're serving girls at Greenhurst this fall, and hopefully in 2021, we'll be back serving girls at a broader variety of areas. So we're having our virtual 5K on the 14th of November, and thank you for recognizing our organization and what we do for youth throughout the Treasure Valley and in your city.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you for making a difference in these girls' lives. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's the extent of our proclamations tonight. And the next item on the agenda is a Nampa resident wishing to speak on behalf of a specific item. And I believe we have a presentation this evening with our fire department. Kirk Carpenter, thank you. As it sounds like the guys are getting a call and stepping out the door.
Fortunately. So, Mayor and Council, thank you. Once again, we've been able to come in front of you the last couple of months with a lot of good things, whether it's our community members that are doing amazing things and already saving lives and or our members. But this one is extra special, and a lot of it I can't take credit for, but I do think it needs recognition. So, on March 17th of 2019, two McCall firefighters arrived on scene of a tragic emergency of a house explosion. And they proceeded to selflessly put themselves in danger to save the life of another. And 6 months later, we have a very stringent hiring process. And just like when the police look for people, we look for character and try and follow our vision statement. And when we look at our vision statement and the key term of service comes to mind, we actually were privileged to hire John Metz from McCall Fire. As soon as he started working, we were notified that John had actually been awarded several recognitions, one at the state where he was awarded the Medal of Honor for the state for his bravery that day. And then we were just notified again per his last chief who put him in for the award. He has received the Firehouse National Medal of Valor Award, which is significant. With that comes a nomination and consideration by the President of the United States for the National Medal of Valor. So I would tell you that his chief from McCall that had the privilege of leading him during this time of his career has no doubt that John and other firefighter Jason who were there that day will receive those medals and will be able to meet the president or vice president. So I actually invited John here and then his family because as firefighters we know that our core values that we get are from our parents and from the families we grow up with. So it was important for me to bring you here and thank you for the amazing man that you brought up and gave these qualities to. But I actually wanted John to tell you a little bit about the story. I know we'll try and stay within our time limit, but it's a significant one. So John, if you want to come up and share.
Yeah, thanks, Chief, Mayor, City Council, Nampa Fire leadership, and everybody else. It's an honor to be here. Like I never thought I'd be in this position, and with my parents and wife and brother here. Yeah, it's something that I couldn't ever imagine. I honestly feel like we were just doing our job that day. We took an oath, right, to be firefighters, men, women, anybody who takes that oath, they take it serious. And just like, just like that oath, it happened. It was up to us that one day. And there was a terrible house explosion in the city of McCall. We were out running errands. We saw a giant mushroom cloud, and we self-dispatched to this area. When we got there, it was a significant scene of devastation. And unfortunately, we heard someone screaming in the burning rubble pile. And so we got our protective gear on and grabbed a water extinguisher and were able to fight our way to a victim, a 16-year-old girl who was buried in debris. And subsequently, we're lucky enough to remove her from the pile. It's one of those things you don't think much about until later, and being here is a super honor to talk about it. Unfortunately, I became close with this girl as well as Jason, and the bad news is she did pass away subsequent to her injuries, but her spirit remains, and it did outstanding things for the way propane is recognized in mountain communities. So there was positive things that happened from this event. But to be with you, standing in front, telling our story, and be with the Nampa Fire Department family, my new family, I'm incredibly honored, and I just want to say thank you. So thank you for letting me be here, and appreciate it.
All right. For 1 second. So we're just here to present him with a letter of recognition for what John and his partner did, Jason Beck, that day. And it just says, John Metz, for your exemplary actions of valor performed on March 17th of 2019. Thank you for your diligence and humility, service, or humble service to our community, November 2nd, 2020. He is being a little bit humble. If you read the story, it is one that's incredible. And in fact, as firefighters, we come to work each day with the hope that we don't want to have to do our job because that means someone's having a horrible day. But I can tell you that from the pictures I've seen and the radio traffic I've heard, his bravery and his partner's bravery that day. They had to crawl underneath fire and shield this young lady from, and she did get to enjoy life after for a while, and they did get to know her. And a lot of blessings were brought because of your actions that day. And it only makes us proud to have someone like you with our department, and it makes us proud for the city of Nampa to have you out there doing the same thing for our community. So congratulations and thanks. We'll do a little fist bump.
Thanks, Chief.
So thank you, Council and Mayor, for allowing us a few minutes. So thank you. Yeah.
I had the privilege of meeting John and getting to visit with him this last week. And we're just so thankful that you've decided to join our team and that you get to be part of this team here. And I hope that you settle in and love our being here, a part of this community and the work you're doing, and for your wife, the work that she's going to be doing. And so congratulations and thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, John. It was neat to get the Firehouse magazine. Jeff said, that's our guy.
Mayor,
Really
Mom and Dad, what do you all think now? How proud can you be with your son?
He's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I just, that day when it happened, he called, his voice was cracking, he didn't know what was going on. And he said very little, we're to a lot later, we got the whole story about these two out in the parking lot, and Albert was getting their ambulance with a canister of water and go out, and it looked like a napalm bomb had blown this whole place up. And there are fires all over the place. And then they're trying to crawl in, they couldn't get in from one direction, so they had to go in from another direction. He was saying that some tank was settling or something blew up, and he thought he was going to be toast at that point. But it was flash, super hot, but it was gone. And then this girl was buried up to the neck, screaming, so they had to pull all that out, and Jason was back squirting, here and there. And they had to lift this young lady, up over a cement wall with the other captain finally today. And then they had to take her and jog a quarter of a mile to the helicopter and lifeboat to get her out. It was like, anyway, yeah, we're grateful he's here after doing that. And he was saying, it's so neat, Mom, because the last squirt of that water left is just what we needed, and then the can was empty. Just kind of had to work their way through it. So the can, I think, is a little memento memorial in the falls. It's all beat up and burned and everything. But they put it up there as a symbol of what you can do when you have to do it. So we're real proud of him.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much.
Yes. Amy would like to grab a photo. Yeah.
Yeah. You'd stand up.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Come on out of here.
Right here?
Yeah. Is the brother coming up?
Yeah.
Yeah, family, and then fire family.
Amy, are we out of it?
Should we stand or be in it or out of it? Or?
I would say stand up.
Okay, we'll stand up and come on in. Come on in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely don't have you. So.
You want to come in? Come on in.
We did.
Come on in.
Are we being it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll stand for you.
Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations. Thank you. It's good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. To our entire fire team back there, first of all, thank you for changing the clock. You guys are so on it. Thank you. It was going to be an hour off, so thank you. You know what I love about what John said was it was just part of the job. It was in the line of duty. And that's what you guys do every day. And I tell you what, we are so thankful for you that you pick up and do what you do. just in the line of duty. Thank you for laying down your lives for others. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. I don't see that anyone else has signed up to speak in the 3-minute time frame. And seeing that, we will move on to mayor and council comments. And I just have 2 quick comments. And one is, tomorrow's an election day. It's important, if we haven't already voted, that we vote. And then I did just capture a video that Amy's going to put out on Facebook later this evening. And take a minute and watch it. And that video is really, it starts as a reminder for voting, but really it's a matter of encouraging our community. We have just walked through a season that has been so divisive with both the coronavirus and the election. And I think we've gotten into a place of almost fear for tomorrow. And I just wanted to encourage, and I did it through our this Facebook message, to encourage people to hope. Right? You know what? We live at an amazing time in history, in a wonderful community, in a great state. And we are here to look out for the best interest of our citizens. And I just want to encourage our community that there is hope here. And no matter what happens, no matter who wins the election, we're striving together to have a safe and healthy community where people prosper. Appreciate the work of our police force. And thank you for helping us be that safe community, right? But we are, and I am so grateful and thankful. And I think our community needs a message of hope and what tomorrow can be, and getting away from fearing for tomorrow. So I just want to encourage our community to look to tomorrow with anticipation, not dread. So that said, I have one other very brief comment, and she may not like this, but I have to say it anyway. Erin Bamer. So Erin has taken a job in Pennsylvania, and that's a big move. And I'll never forget the time that Erin's mom stood before us, and it was talking about pancreatic cancer, and she lost her mom. And it has been, you know, where the media, people today talk about the media and how difficult it is. I'm going to miss Erin, and I'm sorry, you're going to be so mad at me, but I gave her a letter just that she could always have with her, commending her on the work that she has done, because she has done excellent reporting and worked well with all of our department heads in the city of Nampa, and that's commendable to say that. So I think it's the first time with any media person I've ever said, thank you. And but I shouldn't say that, because I do thank our reporters. I love encouraging young reporters and helping them succeed at their job, because we have so many great young people that are coming into the community pursuing a career, and sometimes they need help. Erin didn't need much help. She just was on it, but she did excellent reporting, and you'll be missed, and I wish you the best. So. And with that, I don't think, unless I'm forgetting something, I don't have any more mayor and council mayor comments. Do you guys have any comments?
I have just 30 seconds, Mayor. You want to go first, Jacob? I just dropped by the Halloween event at the rec center from 1 to 2 on Saturday, and I was just amazed. I mean, I don't know how many ended up as far as a count. And I ran into Darren out there. I guess he's not here, but he said, I asked him who idea this was to be creative, and he said it was Courtney. So congratulations to them, and I couldn't believe the dads and moms that were dressed up, and I mean, it was just like a fun event, and to be so creative on that day. We have a lot of people that are doing a lot of wonderful things in this city, so congratulations to them.
I agree, and I couldn't go because I was doing it's family day for me that day, and I gave him my apologies, but that's neat. I'm glad that you got to go. What I appreciate is the efforts to make it a safe and friendly family environment.
And Mayor, I didn't have to wear a mask or anything. I was already, it's fine. So.
Councilman Bauer.
I just wanted to give a shout out to our Skyview volleyball team. I'm a little biased. I got 2 nieces on the team, but they won the 5A state championship, which isn't easy to do for a Nampa school to win the 5A state championship. So a lot of, one of my nieces had 2 knee surgeries, lots of physical therapy and lots of hard work to get to that point. So to the whole team, congrats. That's a huge compliment. At first, they've done 4A a few times, but this is their first 5A state championship.
It's commendable.
Yep.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. It's exciting. Okay, the next item on the agenda are staff communications, and we will start with Kirk Carpenter.
Mayor and Council, just wanted to give everybody a quick update on all the data collection that we've been working on for the consideration of the options from Galena Consulting's results from their the survey and the study that they did. Right now, our main efforts are focused on trying to gather as many citizen feedback responses that we can. We've today hosted the 3 townhouses. We've also met with 2 civic groups, and then over the next 10 days, currently we have I think 6 or 7 HOA requests to come meet with their HOA boards. Those are done basically to the same video that you would see if you go onto the webpage where it's the 6-minute video. It's the same PowerPoint that we use. We explain the content and then just ask that they go to fill out the survey that heads straight to Amy and the website. So we have had one person, I believe, fill out the handwritten survey as they didn't have access to technology. So I believe in your packet you received what we had as of Thursday at noon. And if I'm correct, it was around 100 responses. And since then, we've seen about a 50% increase to that, with another 50 coming in over the last few days. So I know that the team left from here to go do one in Western Nampa over Station 4 to meet with an HOA, and we'll continue to just gather that data and provide it in a packet to you. Other than that, the other works that are going on are from the legal teams, both White Peterson and our legal team with Todd Lakey. We've been working on the annexation agreement as well as some of the other legal documents that go with it. There's I think, I don't remember how many exhibits there are, but there's a lot of exhibits that contain a lot of documents that we currently already have. They just need to be collected and organized so you can go through them properly. Some of the things you can expect over the next 2 weeks, and once they've cleared through the legal team's process, you can expect to see an executive summary with answers to some of the questions that we received from council, a legal summary, as well as the annexation agreement draft and the exhibits that will be included. It is a fairly large document, so we do want to follow legal's guidance on when the best time is to get that to you ahead of time, so you're not reviewing it just over the weekend prior. So other than that, we pretty much have everything completed per legal's request. Should be putting some final touches on those tomorrow, and Wednesday, hopefully have final packet for them to review. So that's where we're at in this process, and definitely stand for any questions you might have.
Everything. I do have a comment, not more of a question. When I was reading the information about the annexation of the fire department, a couple of things came to mind. And one of the most important, of course, was how is it going to affect our taxpayers? That's a big give that no one knows yet, other than what our proposed direction is as far as a cap on 3%, and what it's going to do to our individual homeowners. So I think that's something that we really need to have our community understand.
Yeah.
The other thing that I notice is missing from your presentation is reality in this one aspect. One is that our houses, our homes are so close together. If my house started on fire, it wouldn't be the only one. It would be my neighbors and their neighbors and their neighbors. And for example, where I live in Station 6 area would be, is that you don't have enough manpower. You don't have enough apparatuses. You don't have enough fire trucks, because now not only one fire of my home, it'll be 13 or 14. And the only thing that you can do at this point is call CUDA, Caldwell, Middleton, Meridian, Eagle, 30 minutes away. So the reality is that if we don't go further on this and let people know that we are in a dangerous time and our houses are so close together, that I'll tell you what, I'm just worried and I'm afraid for each other. And that's something that I thought about over the weekend, is how can we take care of this based on the budget that we, the city, has. You can't. What we can do is make it better, and we can try to different alternative fundings, as in this case. We have impact fees that will pay for the construction of the buildings, but we don't have enough money to infringe on the taxpayers to man those stations. So I'm concerned. I'm very concerned, and I'm hoping and pray that I'll never have to call the fire department. I'll never have a fire. I will never have a medical issue. And that's only hoping. It will happen someday to us. And because we are so conservative with funding, how can we endanger our community? So the fire department is important to us and is important to me, and it's important to our families. So we really need to take a good, hard look at this and make sure that we're sending out the right information to educate our community. So thank you. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, Mayor, Councilman Rodriguez. I appreciate the words, and I hope that the information we're giving, we are trying to provide all the data that we were given without taking we're not taking a stance in front of our community. We're giving them the information we were handed. And I would have to rely on Doug to confirm the financial piece to confirm for council on what it does do for our community that live within the city boundaries. The consultant has guided us to say that is the one thing we can control to make it is net neutral for those that live within the city boundaries. But I would agree with you that yes, we do need the addition of resources to continue to provide that service that our community expects.
Thank you. And I will remind council, just a quickie, that we want to get this packet of information to you before it gets posted in the agenda. It will be the same thing, so that this is not a serial meeting, but we need to give you enough time to really review it. I strongly encourage you, as you review it, to reach out and ask questions if you need further clarity. That will also help us as we actually present information the night of. I am going to encourage us, we're going to start our next council meeting at 5, and we'll have a special meeting on this topic so that we have approximately 1 hour before 6 to where we can talk through. And then the actual action item will still be part of the regular council agenda. If we don't get done talking, we will go ahead and move into that segment, but it will give us plenty of time to discuss this and to ask questions. So tonight's intent mainly is just to update on where we are.
Yes.
But
yeah, I apologize. I did forget to add, we are requesting the special council meeting prior to the next meeting to give time for, not just, it won't be really me speaking, it would be more of guidance from the legal, working through the agreement and explaining the elements and answering questions to anything that you may have after.
Mayor, yeah, go ahead, Councilman Haverfield.
Did you want to?
Yeah, I wanted to say something. I was expecting, because of an opportunity to talk to Ann Westcott last week at the Impact Fee Advisory Committee, that we would have more information in tonight's packet than we have. I was expecting the executive summary as a part of this, but that's not here. So knowing that you're still processing things, one thing that I would ask you to provide clarity to us on is the ISO rating for fire departments. If it is the insurance rating, that's through the ISO process. We purchased a ladder truck for high-rise firefighting, and part of the reasoning was that to be able to keep our rating of 2.
Yes.
Can you tell us, or at least in your packet that you provide back to us, does the state of Idaho, is NAMPA benefiting by virtue of having a Class 2 rating?
Yes.
It is. Okay,
yes.
So the taxpayers of Nampa have a lower insurance rating as a part of that. So it does have value to the citizens then that we have that Class 2 and maintain it if we can. It's not just a benefit that is just a pat on the back thing. There's truly a benefit that our taxpayers receive from that.
Yeah, Mayor and Councilman Haverfield, it is. And by putting the ladder truck in place, we did as a city keep it at a 2. We have made the request to ISRB to give us a written confirmation that if this decision was to be made, that it doesn't change the ISO rating of the citizens of Nampa, nor the district citizens as well. And then just to give their feedback on it. From the first glance, yes, we would not change our numbers in any way of what we were just rated. Where we would risk the change in numbers if we didn't start putting staff and stations in place.
Okay, so if that's the case, can you also provide clarity on, currently we have a class 2 rating for the city limits. If the area expands, is it a blend of all of the areas? Is it, are there certain areas of town that would maintain the 2, whereas others outside of the boundary, because of the time frame to reach a fire out there, they have a lower or a higher rating in this case?
Yes.
Would it affect the citizens of Nampa, the current rating that we have, that we're expanding the area, and if it's a blend all the way across?
No, within the ISRB rating system, the fire department is actually only one piece of that overall rating. So it's everything from the water department to access to mutual aid agreements to all of those things. So from the initial look, and we'll have the document from ISRB, that it won't actually change the rating of the citizens of Nampa at all. It will still be the same ratings based upon where you live in the community. And it doesn't expand it doesn't change the boundaries they're currently using for our rating.
It'd be important to me anyway that clarity is provided.
Yeah.
And then to follow up on Councilman Rodriguez's point, I want to know from a standpoint of a representative of the citizens of Nampa what the benefit of this switchover is going to provide them.
Yes, sir.
Because that's who we represent as the citizens of Nampa, even though we have we love the people in the outlying areas, a lot of friends out there. But our focus as a council should be the citizens of Nampa and clarity that this would truly benefit them first.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yep. And the greater good is being served by virtue of our effort.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Councilman Brenner.
Mayor, and this is just an FYI. Councilwoman Mucci is aware, but we met with Doug Racine, who those who are listening is the finance director here a couple weeks ago, and I made a request, and I followed up with that. I realized Doug has some family challenges, but he said next week. Anyway, what I'm asking, just the rest of the council persons are aware, I'm asking for I asked for a side-by-side financial breakdown of district. I don't realize these are projections, district and city, and also timeline to get those fire stations in place. So I have a simple mind. If I can just compare side by side, I think at least that'll be beneficial for me. So that's supposed to be coming this week. So thanks.
We have, and I'll just say, and I don't think Doug would mind me saying so, Doug's father passed away, and he did, but he got to be with him, and that was very special. And so he did pass away, and so he is not quite available, and we are sending flowers on behalf of the entire council, and that funeral is Wednesday. So
tell him I don't expect him to have it then this week. Because when I spoke with him last week, he was just there helping with his dad. So thanks.
Yeah, he was. It went, yes.
Yeah.
So, yes. So that the timing of that, but we are continuing to move forward. Doug's got a lot of that work done. It's just a matter of coming back up and wrapping it and providing it to you. So the goal is going to be to provide information, but what's going to be really important is when you all get this packet, which hopefully is 1 week from today, you'll have a full week to review, to ask questions. And Councilman Haverfield, I did want to mention that the reason you didn't get anything this week, and Ann was just, it was a misunderstanding. I suggested that we not send any packet of information, especially the agreement, until legal had had the chance to review it, because then it gets really confusing. And so we had not, in fact, I think legal got it possibly on Friday. And so because it's not done yet. And so until that agreement is done and we address the differences in the agreement, at that time it'll be submitted to council with a legal summary.
And Mayor, with due respect, I think depending on when it actually is prepared and ready for us, it might be that we ask for an extension of time to review it if it's truly comprehensive, because I'm not going to hurry up a decision unless it's truly clear of the benefit. And I'm not sure that we're going to see that. It's going to be projections, and there's going to be questions, and I'm going to need some clarity because it's a major decision that we're making on behalf of the citizens of Nampa. We want to make sure it's the right decision.
I would agree, Mayor and Council, I would agree that it is a major decision. probably one of the most important ones for the fire department that I can imagine in its history. So.
We all feel the weight of that. And so we fully agree with you. This is a big decision for our community, and we want to make the right decision.
And I guess, Mayor and Council, to try and bring some, peace, we are doing our very best that when you receive this packet, it will be easy to get through, very easy to reference for questions. We're spending a lot of time putting it in an order where when you see something, you know where to go to find the details you're looking for. I know we've put a lot onto our new legal team, and the district has done their share to try and assist that by getting White Peterson to assist in any way they could to help Todd, because I pretty much, on top of everything else, front-loaded him pretty heavy. So I do appreciate his time that he spent with me personally over the last couple of weeks, getting to know the data and spending time reviewing what he's been given. So. We will do our very best to get it into a form that is easy for you to use and read.
Mayor, if I would also, saturation, what is your, obviously it'd be great if we had 100% saturation and feedback. Mm-hmm. You know, we're less than, you said there were 100 people out of 100,000.
Yeah.
That's not a very large segment of our current community.
Yeah.
Are we doing enough to get the feedback that we need to make a valid decision? Or do we need to have something more? I'm not sure what it would be. I mean, we could have public hearings till the end of the year, but if people don't show up and don't participate, that's unfortunate.
Agreed.
But the reality behind it is we're taking 100 people and saying that's our answer. And sometimes it's really not the best way to handle it. I don't know if there's another way to do it, though.
So we've done everything that was within. I will tell you that Amy Bowman has done. Sorry, Mayor and Council. Amy Bowman has done an amazing job with the materials the firefighter gave her. So she's done outstanding. The people that have shown up came with a heart to understand what was going on. So I would say that the ones that we have had the ability to speak with that did come were there for the right reasons and did ask very good quality questions. We haven't had a lot of people ask or not actually ask questions. That's what's good, is we are getting, even whether it's they've watched the video or they've come to a town hall, they are asking questions and we are responding with the answers they need. We don't know, I can't think of any other route of options for advertising that wouldn't cost money. I mean, Amy does cost money through the city for her employment, but she works pretty cheap for us. So, so we have thought about how do we boost that. Right now, I can tell you that we're just asking people through their social media to share as much as possible and try and get it to their loved ones here in Nampa as much as they can, because we do need them to provide you with their thoughts. So, I don't know. I'm praying an HOA gets you another 1,000 responses, I guess, over the next week, and you have more information for your consideration.
Any other questions, comments? Perfect. Good feedback. Thank you. And I'm sure you've written it down. I've taken a few notes and.
Have it.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next staff communications, Andrew Luther with Spectra, oversight of the Fort Idaho Center and the Nampa Civic Center. And I see James here. James, it's good to see you.
Good evening, everyone. Appreciate you having me out tonight, but just wanted to give a quick report on the fiscal year end at the Fort Idaho Center and Nampa Civic Center. I'm certainly pleased to say, even under a pandemic year, we beat budget at both venues. At the Fort Idaho Center, we had a positive budget variance of $81,000. At the Nampa Civic Center, there was a positive variance of $135,000. So combined $216,000 positive budget variance. So we're really thrilled about that. There's a lot of things that happen in the short term and the long term that helped us get to that goal. Short term being, aggressive adjusting on staffing levels and cost savings and other mitigation efforts, booking, coming up with in-house events, but also in the long term, we always prepare for a worst case scenario. So purchasing the things we needed to purchase and building the protocols to generate revenue or reduce expenses have been key. So I think the last 5 years have been building to this, And if we hadn't done the work we had in the prior 4 years, we never would have had a chance in this fiscal year. So I'm proud of the team's work, and standing here, I don't know, 6 months ago, I don't know if I would have said, yeah, we'll be budget, but here we are. So I hope I can say the same thing this time next year, once we're through the pandemic.
I would just like to publicly say Andrew is doing an outstanding job, and I really appreciate his leadership, and I think he's heard me say this, so I'm saying it again with this group. But his cost-saving measures and his willingness to be creative and create events. He has done an absolutely outstanding job in ensuring the safety of our citizens as they visit the venue. And he's worked closely with Southwest District Health and will continue to do so. This moving back to stage 3 puts a little challenge in it, but he is working closely to identify what can move forward and what can't. And as for James, you've been wearing multiple hats. He's been doing a little of everything, from serving in that management role to facility event manager. I mean, he's done everything. Andrew has done the same. And that's something that Andrew had shared, is that he's stepping into a role, whether it's cleaning out stalls, right? I mean, it's whatever we can do, you're doing, right? It's your, as a servant leader, and I think James has exhibited that also. That's why it's made a difference. Mm-hmm. And so to even break even in COVID is amazing, but to beat budget speaks highly of your leadership and the work that you've done. And so you're to be commended. Thank you.
Well, thanks. It takes the whole team. I mean, not just me, but I appreciate the words.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mayor, if I may, I can't believe that you guys met budget. That's amazing. 5 years ago, when I decided to run, I make a lot of statements. Some are okay, some are not so okay. But I said, within 3 years, if we can't get the Ford Idaho Center, right now, I'm not even sure if it's a Ford Idaho Center 5 years ago, but anyway, the Idaho Center balanced, then I felt like the city needed to sell and go to a private entity. But I think it was 1.5 million deficit, if I'm correct, 5 years ago.
Yeah, you are. It was actually 1.7. So
I underestimated. so anyway, I just congratulate you and on behalf of the citizens of Napa, thank you for not only just bringing entertainment and helping the businesses around you, but doing this in a profitable way.
Well, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mayor, I would echo the same thing. 7 years ago, when I got on council, that was when it was 1.7. And part of the reason we ran in that time frame was to help that effort. And a major component of that was switching to Spectra. Ford coming along, that was just an added benefit. But you guys have come a long way in that amount of time, and applaud your efforts in all of that. It's just been a major change and a pleasant one. And then taking on the Civic Center as well was huge, because again, it was just a money drain on the city along with the Idaho Center. So now they are truly venues that we can enjoy and aren't draining our pocketbooks at the same time. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Mayor Clean.
Yes.
So under the immense pressure that you all have been under over the last 7 months, it's been difficult at best. And I just want to thank you, because you and James, I know, are hard pressed to get things done, especially with our budget, and then what had happened to our budget, and the increases that we didn't take. And you two never show us a bad day. It's always a smile and greeting, and we're getting her done. So I got to tell you, I thank you for that. You've taught me how to work customer service, and that's what it's all about, is customer service to our community. So James and Andrew, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Much. Okay, Amy, Staff Communications, Amy Bowman.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Happy November. And with November comes usually our tree lighting. But this year we were actually going to have a really ambitious goal of having an in-person tree lighting. And then with stage 3, we've chosen to pivot, and which is, I think, the word of the year for 2020, pivot, and possibly do a virtual lighting this year. So hopefully we can find some creative, fun things to do to still make it special for the community we, as a staff member, I look forward to really promoting the downtown, our local businesses. Shop Small Saturday is still happening. The Salvation Army is still going to be doing their angel tree. We will, Rick, actually, I'll give Rick credit. He actually had a fun idea of doing kind of a selfie at the tree, maybe come down, get a tree angel from the Salvation Army, support our community in different fun and creative ways. And so that is, and the mayor also, I should mention that some of the surrounding cities, I think Meridian is the only one who's also doing a virtual. I don't think anybody else, no one else is doing an in-person lighting. So hopefully next year we'll be back to normal. That's what we've done, I think, this year. So.
Mayor, what about the Festival of Trees? Do you know anything about it?
I believe it was canceled, correct? Yes.
Oh, come on. So we will have a tree that will be lit downtown, so at least that will be an ornament to go look at.
Yes, and November 12th, I believe is the date, the insider knowledge is when that will be. Was it the Fishers that donated it this year?
Oh, good.
48.5 blue spruce or something like that.
It's a beautiful tree.
So
great.
Yes, it will definitely be downtown. We'll still be decorating. I know Jay Snyder's been busy taking inventory of all of our twinkle lights, and so we'll be encouraging families to still enjoy downtown.
So Mayor, are we keeping the tradition where at least the mayor will light? Or is that going to be happening where we have a...
Well, the last tradition, the mayor forgot to hit it, so we had somebody else hit it. So, so I'm not sure exactly how we'll do it this year, but I do want to say one thing that's really awesome is that every year Amy works all day Friday and all day Saturday for it to happen. And she's actually, I've told her she cannot work on Thanksgiving Day, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday of that weekend because it's always a work weekend. It's not a holiday. And so this is a year that we can actually enjoy a holiday, and that's going to be good. And that could be true of St. Alphonsus. I don't know about you guys, but maybe you'll get to actually take the weekend. Yeah, that's good. You know, it isn't all bad. COVID has really created some opportunities, if we look at it from a positive sense, some great opportunities that we get to do things differently, and having a weekend off or looking for creative ways to celebrate the holidays in a whole different light, right?
And Margie shared there's a lot of nonprofits that need our help. So I thought maybe instead of watching the lights, maybe we can all be a light in the community.
Good one.
And Mayor, I'm always good for one snide comment. And thank goodness that we're not in California where we're not supposed to be spending Thanksgiving with family. So, yeah.
Yeah.
They need comment.
Yeah.
I like that.
I usually give those to the mayor, but
Write it down. Don't forget it.
Yes, thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
No, thank you.
No, thank you, Amy.
Mayor, Amy, let us know how we can help. You do amazing work, all of you. And I think if there's a word for 2020, it's exhausted. I think acknowledging that and these moments will pass, right, my friend Clint?
So we're moving on to new business items. And as we move into this new business item, this is an action item, and this is a resolution declaring the city of Nampa to be a Second Amendment city. And it was suggested 2 weeks ago, and I have to give my sincerest apologies. I actually forgot. And thank you to Rick for drafting the amendment and adding it to our agenda. And I think I'm going to read the resolution. And we'll just go through this. This is a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Nampa, Canyon County, Idaho, declaring the city of Nampa, Idaho to be a Second Amendment city. Whereas in the United States Constitution, Amendment 2 reads, "The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." And Amendment 14 reads, "No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law." And whereas the Idaho Constitution, Article 1, Section 11 reads, "The people have the right to keep and bear arms which shall not be abridged." And whereas the the Nampa City Council has been elected to represent the people of Nampa, Idaho, and being duly sworn by their oath of office to uphold the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the state of Idaho, and whereas the mayor and city council are opposed to any legislation that would infringe upon the right to keep and bear arms or ban the possession or use of any firearms now employed by the individual citizens of Nampa for defense of life, liberty, and property. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that the Nampa Mayor and City Council hereby declare the City of Nampa to be a Second Amendment city. Be it further resolved that Nampa does hereby oppose the enactment of any legislation that would infringe upon the rights of the people to keep and bear arms, and consider such laws to be unconstitutional and beyond lawful legislative authority. Be it further resolved, the people of Nampa, Idaho affirm and support the Nampa Police Department, the Canyon County Sheriff's Department, and additionally, specifically, to exercise sound discretion and to not enforce against any citizen any unconstitutional laws. Be it further resolved that the City of Nampa will not appropriate any funds for any enforcement of unconstitutional laws against the people of Nampa. So with that, our council did not have the opportunity to see this before the packet, of which I apologize. And it is a statement. So at that, I would leave it to the council for any comment, discussion, or motion to approve resolution number 59-2020.
Mayor Kling, I think Jacob's the one that brought this forward, so he should be the one to make the motion.
Yep, I just want to add that, I think there's only 8 counties ahead of us that have more guns per population. So this is a county that supports the right to bear arms and to, protect itself. And like I said, last council, it's a little different when you get in a real situation. It puts it in different perspective, like I did once with my family. So thank you, Mayor. And I will make the motion to authorize Resolution 59-2020, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Nampa, Canyon County, Idaho, declaring the City of Nampa, Idaho, to be a Second Amendment city.
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
Mayor, just discussion. I want to compliment, I know Bob Gaddis is the gentleman. He was here. I'm not seeing him now. But he was one who came up, and I compliment you, Mayor. I know this started before you were in office, but giving our citizens 3 minutes. And when he came to me and he approached me on this, I said, it's great if a citizen makes the recommendation. And then of course, Councilman Bauer then followed through and wanted it enacted. But I just want to compliment him. And number 2, Rick, short notice. Amazing research, and to write this up in such a fine way. Appreciate that very much.
And I do too. Appreciate that. Good job.
Mayor Kling.
Yes.
And also, I want to thank our community, of course, Hubert and Ron Harriman and Larry Osborne. They all send us all emails asking us to accept and approve. And Jacob, brother, you're good. Thank you for doing this. This right here tells a lot of our community, and it tells the state of Idaho what we are all about. Thank you, sir.
There's no further discussion. Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Bruner?
For sure, yes.
Munchy? Yes. Haverfield?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
The next item on the agenda, Clinton, Carrie, it's been a little bit of a wait for you. So thank you for waiting this evening. It's the appointment of Carrie Child to the Nampa Library Board. And the Nampa Library Board has recommended that Carrie come forward. She's an original supporter of the library, and she bought one of the book spine displays on the 3rd floor. She's a strong advocate for library programs, bringing her children and grandchildren to the library for years. She's knowledgeable about our library services and active in volunteering for the community, and is dedicated to serving our citizens. And she's also a wonderful employee of our Nampa Rec Center. Carrie, thank you for all you do. Really appreciate it. So she is recommended to be appointed to the library board, and I would stand for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's like, who gets to be first, right? I'm watching these. It's like everybody's like in. Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
We just put a motion first for everyone here. Is that possible, Clerk?
We need to rotate them. Okay, any further discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
I had the honor to serve with Carrie on the editorial board, and she's truly got a servant's heart for our community. And thank you again for stepping up and finding ways to serve. We're lucky to have you. Thank you.
Yes.
Mayor, they're my old neighbors, and I agree. They're some of the most wonderful people that I know with the being in Lions and all the community work they've done. They're really a gem for our community. So thank you both.
Councilman Bauer, you shouldn't talk about their age like that, though.
Former. I was going to say it and you did it, so.
You know I'm always up.
Yeah, no, it's good. Okay, roll call.
Rodriguez? Yes.
Mucci?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes. Mayor Kling, if it's customary, could we have Carrie come up and say a few words about herself?
You don't have to, but you're welcome to come. Clint, come with her. Go ahead and come with her. Yeah, no, come on.
Mayor, Councilman, Rick, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to serving on the library board. I love the library. Excited that it's reopened, and our grandkids did just move here, so I'm excited to get them in there and see it. So yeah, it's just another way to start the community. Not leaving the rec though, so still be at the rec. So thank you. And thanks for the opportunity.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Clint, since you're here, I just want to tell you, thank you for your service to our community also. Be it the hospital or the Snake River Stampede or the multiple other things you do, thank you. You both stayed pretty busy serving, I think. Yeah, thank you. Item 5.3 on the agenda is the reappointment of Nick Smith. I don't believe Nick is here this evening, but Nick has completed his first term. He would like to continue to serve, and so this is a reappointment of Nick Smith. And he was the former chairman of the board. And
make the motion to reappoint Nick.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call. Bruner?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mucci?
Yes.
Okay, item 5.4 on the agenda. This is to approve the allocation of $15,000 in the 2019 year CDBG funding to the First Street Sidewalk Extension Project to make up for a budget shortfall.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? Roll call. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mucci?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Matt, thank you. Thank you. Okay, the next item is to request the council reject the bid alternate and award the base bid for CDBG. Excuse me, I just changed lines. Item 5.5 on the agenda is an action item to request council reject the bid alternate and award the base bid and authorize the mayor to sign a contract for the downtown pedestrian improvements Phase 1 project with Hess Construction in the amount of $209,625.50 as approved in the FY21 budget. So Daniel, I think we'll need you.
Mayor and council, this bid award, the rejection of the bid alternate, we bid it with the thought that if we had adequate funds, we would redo the corner bulb outs there adjacent to the project. The bids came in such that we did not have adequate funds to do that. With the previous action, the reallocation of the $15,000 from the CDBG, we have adequate funds to construct the dining portion between the alley and the bulb out, and so we're just looking for a bid award for that one.
Mayor Kling. So the estimate was 200,000, so we're slightly over the estimate of 9.
The estimate, the engineer's estimate was 174,000 for the concrete work. So we're about 35,000 over the engineer's estimate. We've looked at the bid items. There are no necessarily abnormal bid quantities or bid items there. It's just construction's coming in higher than
we were anticipating.
How many bidders?
This was put out as a quote, so we had 3 bidders.
And where are the additional dollars coming from? I didn't see that.
The additional dollars were the previous item you just acted on.
Oh, okay.
Councilman Haverfield.
I see it now. I'll make the motion to approve the, reject the bid alternate and award the base bid to authorize you, Mayor, to sign that contract for downtown pedestrian improvements Phase 1 as provided at $209,625.50.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Munchy?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
As we move into 5-6, Beth, could you go ahead and come forward for that one? And before she starts, I've got to say, I meant to do this earlier and forgot. And so, Beth, I'm going to talk about you again. We did earlier this morning, but I just want the council to know that Beth was awarded the Idaho Economic Development Director Professional of the Year for 2020, which is a huge accomplishment. It's given annually to recognize Idaho's premier economic development professional who in the last 12 months has made a significant impact in their community. And Beth is doing an amazing job. I want to say, especially in the midst of COVID, where we have just handed project after project after project to you to manage. The grants, the $500,000, the extra CDBG funds, there's been a lot on her plate, and she keeps smiling. And just does it so well without skipping a beat. And so you've been an excellent representative of our community and an award well-deserved that we're very proud of. So that's pretty cool. So congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Well, as the word team has come up several times tonight, it's a reflection of the whole team of the city, not just my team, my staff, but all of the departments that are here. Certainly I just am one face of the city, and there's a lot of people that make it all work. So thank you.
Thank you.
This agenda item is the annual contract between the City of Nampa and the Nampa Development Corporation for staff services. So it encompasses the administrative support they receive from economic development, parks and rec support for the maintenance of Library Square, facilities support for the maintenance of the parking garage, and then the NDC portion for the Main Street manager position. So it just outlines it. It's essentially the exact same as last year with a few grammatical changes.
Thank you. Is there a motion to?
Mayor Kling, if I can inquire, did it change drastically, or was there any change at all from last year's or of the last one?
Mayor and Council, there's no change to the scope of work or the budget amounts.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Thank you. Mayor, I'll make the motion to approve
I'll second.
the MOU.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Brunner?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Munchy?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
And then Beth, you can obviously you've stayed there. So this next action item 5-7 is to authorize the mayor to sign the exchange agreement with the Nampa Development Corporation for the parking lots located at 12th Avenue and 3rd Street and for the lot at 10th Avenue and 2nd Street.
Mayor and Council, before you is the modified agreement. Since our last time that we reviewed this with you, we added in language on number 4 that's highlighted in yellow in your packet that explicitly states that the city's only liability in regards to environmental remediation is up to $50,000 or half the cost, whichever is less. And then the city's legal counsel added the verbiage in there, recognizing that it's not currently part of the city's budget, but every effort would be made to make it so if needed. And then on number 10, that NDC shall not dispose of the parking lot, property on 12th and 3rd, or any portion of except for at fair market value and for redevelopment as a taxable use. So, and then they did define fair market value shall include such values determined by fair reuse value appraisal, and that NDC acknowledges that that's an important provision and will work to keep the city's rights to that. And then they also adjusted, it's not highlighted, but on number 12, they underline that the edits have been made by both legal counsel for the city and NDC. And then Councilmember Munchy pointed out to me there's probably a slight typo back on the first page of number 3. that each party shall be responsible for the payment of all taxes and assessments accruing to their respective properties being exchanged up. And there should be the word to, and including the date of closing, etc. So those were the changes that are come back to you. The NDC board at their last board meeting approved their chairman to sign it and pass it along to City Council for your authorization to sign as well.
I have a quick question, and I'm sorry, I think I've missed this, but I heard it was 10th and 2nd that they said could only be used for a taxable purpose?
12th and 3rd.
12th and 3rd.
Yes.
Okay, so 10th and 2nd does not carry that.
Correct.
Thank you. Make sure. Thank you. Any further questions, discussion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to authorize to sign the exchange agreement with Nampa Development Corp. for the parking lot located at 12th Avenue and 3rd Street South, lot at 10th Avenue and 2nd Street South.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Mucci?
Yes.
Thank you, Beth. 5.8 is also an action item related to CDBG CV funding, and this is to approve the proposed allocation and authorize the staff to proceed with the 2019 annual action plan amendment and public comment period.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mucci?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Nothing personal, Matt.
I appreciate your time, and I'm just happy to keep the ball moving, so we want to get this money out to the people that need it.
You're
So I
doing your job
appreciate
well.
efforts.
No question.
And I'll
You're
see you in
doing
2
a
weeks.
great job, Matt. Thank you. Item 5.9 on the agenda is an action item to authorize the Mayor and Public Works Director to sign a task order for consultant services with Jacobs Engineering Group for the Nampa Wastewater Treatment Plant fiscal year 2021 software support services. This has been approved by legal and approved in the FY21 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
5.10 is an action item, and this is to authorize the Mayor and Public Works Director to sign a task order for preliminary design of roadway improvements on Northside Boulevard between Carter Road and Birch Lane, and to authorize city staff to apply for state and federal grant funding for Northside and Carter Road intersection improvements, and this is approved in the FY21 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Mucci?
Yes.
Bruner?
Yes.
5.11 is an action item to authorize the Mayor and Public Works Director to sign a task order for the attached scope of work for Precision Engineering LLC for Franklin Road and Birch Lane Roundabout project, and final design services in the amount of $119,531.36.
So moved, Mayor.
Is there a second? Or do we want Daniel?
I want Daniel on.
You want Daniel?
You know, I don't know what the rest of them do, but
Okay, we're going to hold your motion, if you don't
Okay.
mind. And Daniel, before we move into any action,
Mayor, Councilman Bruner, is there a specific question you want addressed, or just a general?
okay. Well, number one, I got a little mixed up, which is nothing new. But which one are we on? Because my numbers seem to be off from yours, Mayor. So that's why I think I have the old packet where I didn't have the have the resolution.
Okay, so this is the one, it's next to the last item?
So it's this is Franklin Road and Birch Lane Round.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the next one that I have some challenges with. So
The Indian Creek Pathway?
right.
Okay, which is the last one. So are there any questions for Daniel on the design services for the Franklin Road and Birch Lane roundabout?
Mayor Kling,
Yes.
is this a part of the efforts as far as improvements that Amazon is partially funding?
Mayor, Councilman Haverfield, no, this is not related to the Amazon project.
So are there any impact fee dollars available for this?
There, Jeff, do you remember the impact fee percentage on that one? 55. 55, yeah. Mayor, Councilman Haverfield, 55%.
And this was approved in our 21 budget, so I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Bruner,
Yes.
Mucci,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Haverfield,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Our last action item under new business is to award the bid and authorize the mayor to sign the contract for the Indian Creek Pathway Extension, which is Taffy to Peppermint, key number 20141 project with Paul Construction in the amount of $285,935. This was approved in the FY20 budget.
You want me to fire the questions now? Is that okay, Mayor?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so we've already spent, looks like 120. Whose money is this, number one?
Mayor and council, this is a grant-funded project. So I believe we're 7.3% on, or 7.3 cents on the dollar for the design and construction costs.
Okay, so we've already spent monies of the 459,000, 123,300 from what my math comes out. So that's already been spent in 2000 for design and so on purposes.
So Mayor, Councilman Bruner, so design is all we've done at this point. We bid this originally last year, and the design was such, we had received a interpretation from the state SHPO office that Indian Creek was historic, and so we were not allowed to make modifications to Indian Creek. So we had to build a bridge. The bids at that point came in well above our budget amounts. And so we went back to the state SHPO office with LTAC, had some additional discussions with them, got them to change their interpretation. They had some new staff there. And so we rebid the project without the bridge and actually redoing the erosion area, bringing back in some fill and rechanneling that to protect the adjacent storm drain pond and adjacent residences. And so all we have spent at this point is design costs.
Right, which total is about 123,000 is what I.
Correct.
Okay, so I walked that this weekend, and I'm just concerned. I realize this is grant money, but I'm starting to get tired of just using grant money too, if it doesn't save money for our citizens. And so, because somebody's paying for it. Anyway, I don't understand, we already have about a quarter of a mile where it just ends, so we're trying to combine two sections. My steps, and I'm not a fast walker, but I figured it's going to cost, if you figure the full cost, $2,176 for every one of my steps. And when I was out there, I mean, I saw people walking. They would cut off from the path and walk through Taffy Drive there on the sidewalk. There's a nice sidewalk. There's a great crosswalk going across Sugar, which then realigns to the path again. Number one, in my estimation, and I'm not an engineer or anything, and probably if Larita here, she'd probably be giving me a frown right now. But I don't have any idea why we did that part of that pathway to start with off Sugar Lane. And I am not in favor of spending any more money. And I blame myself because I probably said yes to this 123,000 earlier. To me, this does not make a bit of sense to use taxpayer money for this 6,032 feet and spending $459,000 total for that. And maybe you can explain it further to me. Maybe I'm totally off base. I'm ready to finally listen.
So Mayor Kling, Councilman Bruner, there are some additional, beyond just the pathway improvements that are being done there. The Indian Creek itself has migrated over the years and continues to get closer and closer into the private properties there, where there is also a city storm drain pond. So part of the appeal for us of this project is not only just the pathway connection, but also the rebuilding of that bank and armoring of that bank to protect those residences there, as well as the city's storm drain pond from future complications that would arise from that continued erosion of that bank and migration of the Indian Creek north.
And currently, I saw erosion tubes already out there. And is there any reason why more erosion tubes can be put in place rather than spending this kind of money further?
Mayor or Councilman Brunner, I would have to review that. I'm not.
Okay, anyway, bottom line, and the council can vote how, but I just am not in favor of this. And again, I apologize to whoever paid the $123,000 already for that expenditure to already be spent.
Mayor,
to me, it's a waste of money.
Mayor and Councilman Brunner, I do believe, though, if we do not follow through with the project, I believe there are funds that would likely have to be repaid to the grant. I believe the transportation, ITD, with the transportation alternatives, I believe it would be likely that we would have to return funds to them.
Okay, if I can find out, maybe I would make the motion that we postpone this. If you can let me know or let council know what those, what that repayment would be, that would maybe affect my decision. But at this point in time, I will not vote in favor of it.
So I'd like to ask Jeff or Tom, can either of you speak to that? As far as the repayment and where we are with this and the process, I know you may not be prepared to speak to what brought us here. And hearing the conversation, maybe recommend where we go from here on this particular issue, because we could postpone it.
Yeah, so we certainly can postpone it, give it more time. We don't have to make a decision today if you want some more information. But yeah, if this is a grant fund and we've spent money already on design, so it could be potentially non-participating costs that a city would have to reimburse for the design costs if we don't fulfill the project and get it constructed, because that was part of the grant award was to not just do design, it was to build the entire project. So, and so instead of spending the 7 cents on a dollar on the design, we could be on the entire amount. So I'll have to confirm that.
And that would affect my decision. And Mayor, if I just make one more thing, and maybe, Daniel, maybe, I'm in the future, and maybe my philosophy is dead wrong. Is there some reason why a path can't end and where you can go through a subdivision with sidewalk rather than spending a bunch more money on a path? Is there some reason why we can't use our city sidewalks? I'm being a little sarcastic here, but.
Mayor, Council Brunner, I think that, well, this was in the bike and ped master plan, so we're following the plan. And generally, I think users find it safer to be off the road, but I understand this is a lower volume.
This is a low volume subdivision, at least what I saw.
Yeah, okay. And then there are times that we do that regardless anyway, so it's not.
Okay.
Not a hard fast rule. I understand your.
Anyway, I appreciate it if we can get a little more information and see if we have to pay back money. That would make a difference.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. I would make the motion then that we postpone this till the next council meeting, Mayor.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor Kling, I do have one question for Tom. Tom, so this money, this fund, is this specifically for this project and you can't use it for any other?
That's correct, Councilor Rodriguez.
I see. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Munchy?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes, and thank you.
Tom, thank you. We can talk about it and then be prepared for the next council meeting. Thank you very much. That concludes our new business items, and this evening we did not have any public hearings. We have one unfinished business item. This is an action item. It's the first reading of ordinance for zoning map amendment to RS6, which is single-family residential 6,000 square foot. From that to community business for a 0.3 acre strip of land mistakenly zoned RS6 during the platting and zoning process of Summit Ridge subdivision due to an incorrect legal description and submitted for zoning boundaries. And this is with JUB Engineers and Wendy Shrieff representing M3 Idaho Greenhurst LLC. And it is requested to pass under suspension of rules.
An ordinance of the City of Nampa, Idaho, to provide BC zone designation for certain previously unzoned lands located to the west of North Broadmoor Way, south of Shannon Drive, comprising approximately 3.52 acres more or less, determining that said land
Said zoning is in the best interest of the citizens and consistent with the comprehensive plan of the city of Nampa, Idaho. Zoning said property as BC, providing for recording, instructing the city engineer to designate said property as BC on the official zoning map and other area maps of the city, providing severability and providing an effective date and repealing all ordinances, rules, and regulations, parts thereof in conflict herewith.
Make a motion to pass the ordinance as read under suspension of rules.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Brunner?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Mucci?
Yes.
Haverfield?
Yes.
And with that, that concludes our meeting this evening. We have no executive session, and I would stand for a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is the shortest meeting we've had in a very long time.
That's a good luck
Can't believe it.
Todd, hopefully.